got you covered. This is News 4 Tucson.
Breaking down Arizona Wildcats football, the Cats fall at the Coliseum in Los Angeles Saturday night, 41-14 to the USC Trojans. I'm David Kelly, USC class of 1990, joined as always by U of A football class of 1985, tight end Glenn Howell, and that is now 8 steak dinners that you owe me, Glenn, in this rivalry, as the Wildcats have now lost 7 straight years to the Trojans.
I just bought a side of beef last week. So
I'll be waiting for that side of beef to arrive at my condo. Okay, let's get into this. A lot to talk about from this loss, and I want to start with the elephant in the room, and that's the quarterback controversy, or lack thereof, as head coach Kevin Sumlin said. And why don't we play you what Kevin Sumlin said here after Saturday night's ball game?
Yeah, it's not a quarterback controversy. I mean, it's where we are right now. So we wanted to get Grant in there. That was the plan from last week. You know, we're moving on from this, and the depth chart's still the same.
All right, Glenn, he said that there is no controversy, that the depth chart stays the same, and I think that's what should happen. And here's the reason that I believe that should happen, Glenn. When you look at these last 5 games, okay, you need 2 more wins to go to a bowl game. Can you win 2 games with Grant Cannell as your starting quarterback? Yes, you can. Can you win 2 games with Khalil Tate as your starting quarterback? Yes, you can. But if you have bigger visions of maybe trying to win 4 of these last 5, the only one I don't think they're going to win is Oregon. I don't think they can win that game. But I think they can go to Stanford and win on Saturday. They can beat Oregon State. I believe they can beat Utah here at home. And I think they can go to Tempe. They've got the talent to go to Tempe and win this year. So if you think this team can win the 4 of the last 5 and finish 8-4, I think you stay with Khalil Tate, because you've got to win next Saturday in Stanford to make that happen, and you're not going to go to Palo Alto with a true freshman quarterback making his first road start and win a football game.
Dave, I just think that Khalil Tate, we just don't know which one we're going to get. And I think we should ride him until we can't ride him anymore, because Khalil Tate is going to be able for us to win 4 or 5 more games. I think if Khalil's hot and we go into Oregon and we've won the last 3, we don't know what's going to happen there. So I think that we got to ride him until we can't ride him, unless hopefully, God forbid, nothing happens to Khalil. And if he's not doing good in the first half, then let's go for the reliever.
Yeah, much like they did on Saturday. And I think the frustrating thing for me, Glenn, is that I did not expect them to win either of these 2 games. I didn't have them beating Washington. I didn't have them beating USC. But what I wanted to see was Khalil Tate play well in those ball games. It's one thing if you play well and lose.
This was an audition.
Yeah, and he just has not played well. And I think that's where you begin to wonder, well, maybe is this the guy you want to move forward with, because he's just not making those adjustments. And I want to take a look at 2 of the 6 times that he got sacked in this ball game, and they both came on the same drive here. Let's take a look at this first sack here, Glenn. It was a 1st and 10, and we often talk about whether Khalil has the ability to check down, but this was a 1st and 10 play where he really did not have a hot route. When he plants back here, everybody, all these receivers are still in their routes. He got great pass protection from JJ on the outside. Donovan Laie didn't recognize the blitz, and you got to have your linemen recognize blitzes here. But he's got to understand that if you don't have, if you see that blitz from your right side and your routes are still in motion, you just got to get rid of the football at that point.
You have to get rid of the football, and then also he's got to be able to be aware of the routes that are coming towards him. And if he sees an opening, those windows, we talked about the windows, Dave. We talked about the small windows, and those are small windows. And the USC-Washington game, those were games that we were like playing. The USC game was like playing against sharks. We put blood in the water when we got all those fumbles and you get the turnovers. Those kill us. They were just like feeding frenzy. And then if you look at the tape, we go back, and if we don't do those fumbles and things, it's 3-0 at the halftime.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be still in the game.
Yeah. And now let's look at this next blitz here. This was later in this same drive, and there was a lot to unpack from this one here. Let's start with your right tackle, Edgar Barola here. And he had 2 choices because he had 2 guys blitzing on his side of the field here. He decided to take the inside guy versus the outside guy. I thought he should have taken the defensive back on the outside guy and cleared him to buy Khalil Tate some more time. He chose the inside guy and it was the outside blitzer that got to Khalil.
Yeah, and Edgar, that's a tough decision because I think it was a delayed blitz on the inside linebacker, so he should have kicked out and got the outside guy. It's a hard decision to make on that, and I understand that because I've been in that situation before, and when I was playing offensive line, and it's tough because when they have a delay, and these guys were just blitzing every single play, so these guys were overwhelmed, and I just think that they just did the best that they can, and sometimes the best they can wasn't good enough.
That said, this, unlike that first blitz, which was a 1st and 10, this was a 3rd and 3, Glenn, and Khalil had dump down options. He had J.J. Taylor right here in the flat. He had Drew Dixon coming over the middle. He's got to get rid of the ball to one of those two guys.
And that's what we say about, just understanding the coverage, understanding what's going on, and get rid of the ball. That could have been a first down, move the chains, we're out of there. And I believe we punted and they scored on that series right there. So we got to be able to give our defense a chance to be able to play. Yeah. And they're just getting too tired, I think.
And I want to show one other angle of this particular blitz right here so we can talk about a third thing I saw with this one right here. And this is the route concepts and what we like to call the route trees. Glenn, you have 3 guys. I'm going to stop it right here. You have 3 guys within a 6-yard space of each other, all in the middle of the field. To me, that just does not seem like smart route running to put 3 guys in one particular area like that.
Well, what I'm thinking when you see that, Dave, is I'm thinking that they're trying to get somebody picked or somebody just to break open while they get the defenders confused on who they should be guarding. And as you see, if you run that tape a little bit longer, there is some guys that come open.
Right. All right, let's get to the defensive side of the ball. The defense, again, 41, you look at the last 2 games, they get up 92 points, but I don't think that's really tells the story of what they're doing because they're making plays out there. The only thing, the problem I had with the defense was there were some occasions where I thought Tristan Cooper had a tough game. He allowed some guys to kind of let loose in zones, and that's where you've got to kind of short because Keaton Slovis didn't have a great game, but he was able to understand where his open receivers were and make plays down the field.
And they did a good job of getting into the open pockets and being able to sit down. As people were running by them, they were sitting down, and that left it wide open because you're panning the field, and then all of a sudden you see a guy sitting down, and everybody's running across as you roll out, and then that's how he was getting those receivers open. So USC did a good job of sitting in the hole and not moving and just doing a lateral movement and getting open.
Yeah, and our linebackers, boy, it's tough when those running backs, we talk about the injuries that U of A is dealing with. USC had a bunch of injuries on defense. They were down to their last running back pretty much, and that's a guy that can come in and run for 100 yards in essentially 1 quarter. That shows you the talent level.
It was amazing what Clay Helton said at halftime. They asked him, well, you're running out of backs. He goes, we have plenty of backs. We have plenty of backs. He was like, wow.
People want to talk bad about Clay Helton, and I know you're one of those people, and he probably won't have a job after next year. But, this was a guy that, like you said, he found a track star in California and put him in the backfield. He ran for 100 yards. He came into Arizona and found a quarterback that nobody wanted, and this kid's probably going to lead them to the South title. So, there's some issues there, but this has been a staff that at times has been able to identify some talent to put on that roster for USC. And we talked about it in the preseason. I asked you when we were going to get the Jamari Jordan pass.
Yes,
we got it in this ball game.
I didn't think we were going to get it, but I don't think that was a very constructive. Yeah, he did. He did.
If he had thrown it right away, I think that he had an opportunity to complete the pass, but he held it a little bit too long.
And the thing about this game, Dave, is just really frustrating to me, is that we could have been in this game the whole time. We were good enough to be in this game with all their injuries that they had. We were good enough to be in this game. We were good enough to be in the Washington game, but we made too many mistakes. We're just self-inflicted wounds. That's all we do.
Yeah, you cannot do that for sure, and you can't do it Saturday up at the Palo Alto up on the farm against the Stanford Cardinal. We will be back and preview that game for you on Saturday morning.